This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show. This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is sponsored by Wise Guy Media, a new company dedicated to showcasing the talents and offerings of their customers through podcasting, eye-catching graphics, logo, and customized web design. Established in 2015, Wise Guy Media is continuing to push the elements of web and logo design with outside-of-the-box ideas and up-to-date graphic-generating programs. Whether you want to launch your own podcast, need a website, or a new logo for your brand, they have all your needs covered to promote yourself and get your brand recognized in your industry. To see what they've been up to, check out their site, www.sonyermedia.com/wiseguy, for a sample of what they've been doing to help get this podcast off the ground. That's www.sonyermedia, SANYERMEDIA.com/wiseguy. Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode numero 16. This week's episode, my guest is Johnny Landini, a Colorado-based glass artist who has been behind the torch since 2000. And Johnny's got a fun story. He's got a cool style to his work. He's a family man. Kind of younger in the family sense. He's got some younger babies. Also, the interview took place on the day of Johnny's birthday. So for those of you out there that know Johnny Landini, he turned 45. And those that didn't know or don't know who he is but do now after listening to the show, you guys should reach out to him and wish him a happy belated birthday. And you can find Johnny on Instagram at IamGlassHappy, or on Facebook at Johnny Landini. And we're going to be putting up some pictures and stuff on the show notes page, and, so you guys can see what he's all about. And also, again, check out his Instagram page. You can get a better perspective of what it is that he's doing. He's got a fun, unique style. He has a tube that he makes that's an octopus, where the body of the octopus, the back of the head, is the mouthpiece of the tube, and it's all interconnected into the shape of the way he makes everything. And then his base is the bottoms of them. He does like a reef scene, which looks pretty gnarly. So, being the fact that I am a octopi aficionado and I like to make them myself, and I do on a regular basis, or at least I did for Disney, I felt it was a good reason to bring him on the show. And so I did, and I hope you guys enjoy his conversation. I'm still debating on whether I'm going to turn this into a 2-day show or just blast it out as his full interview. Because he has an extensive interview. It's about an hour and a half long. And I'm still kind of figuring out, actually, if you guys want to give me some feedback on what you would prefer, because honestly, a lot of the times I do split these shows up because they are generally, the interviews are around an hour to an hour and a half long. And, I know how the human mind works, but I also know that a lot of y'all listen to this show while you're on the torch or while you're driving or what have you, or you're at the gym or going for a walk. And being the fact that it's an hour and a half show, instead of, it could be an hour and a half show. It'd be cool if you guys could give me some feedback to let me know if you would prefer me to do a full interview in one show, or if you like the idea of how I split them up. Because I kind of like the idea of splitting them up, because then it gives you something, to look forward to in the next episode, as you're teased, into the next one. Or if you look forward to having an entire interview in one full show. So it'd be awesome if you guys could feedback or give me feedback and let me know what you think. Either way, I'm cool, but again, it's whatever you guys want to do. Also, coming up this month, it seemed like everybody was available for interviews this month, including a lot of guys that I had initially booked earlier into the season of me getting the show started. So come here in the next week, I have a shitload of interviews coming up and ready to launch the days that they come out, instead of having like a last-minute rush and get these interviews all done. Yeah, so I'm super excited about the interviews coming up. I do have a lot of guests lined up, and I'll be teasing them as they come on. That way I don't jinx myself and jump to conclusions and just assume that they're coming on. But they have talked to me and said that they are definitely wanting to come on the show. It just happened that scheduling-wise, middle of July into 1st of August was better timing for everybody. I think a lot has to do with the trade shows and vacation and stuff, and being in summertime, it's kind of a somewhat, not slow season, but it does kind of slow down in some areas. So a lot of us take advantage of that time period and get the hell out of town for a little bit and unwind. I think those that are in the 30-day challenge, today is day 20. Thank you guys again for participating. It's been a fun experience, especially myself, because I also am, by doing this, I'm trying to practice what I preach. I shouldn't say try, because I really think I am practicing what I'm preaching. And even though myself, I haven't been able to every single day be here on the torch, or even just in general, I do still participate by starting my day off by making a pendant. And for those of you who have posted your pendants up on our Facebook page, thank you for that. And they're getting up on Etsy little by little as they come up. And anybody interested in purchasing these pendants, you can go to etsy.com/WiseGuyRadio, or I believe you can just go to the Etsy search shop and just put in Wise Guy Radio, and you'll find our page on there. If not, you can hit me up. I can send you the link. I think the link also is on our Facebook group page at facebook.com/WiseGuyRadio. So also, being this is coming into after the second quarter of the tax period, I'm going to be sitting down with my accountant here pretty soon to do my get prepped up for the third quarter for taxes. And when I do that, I'm going to be talking to her and doing a little interview on just some simple ways of doing some bookkeeping, and also the benefits of paying quarterly taxes compared to paying the end of the year full annual taxes. The main benefit is you're not penalized for not paying quarterly, but also the main huge benefit is the fact that you're not paying a one lump sum at the end of the year. You can pay your taxes in small snippets throughout the year every quarter. And also, if you overpay, because you'd have to do an estimate with the Schedule C, that at the end of the year, if you overpay your taxes, then you get a refund. So in the meantime, if you would like to be on the show, you can contact me at jmichaelglass76@gmail. That's jmichaelglass76@gmail.com. If you'd like to be on the show, or if you are interested in sponsoring the show as well. I have a couple companies I've been talking to about potential sponsorships that we're hoping to bring on the show for interviews and also for long-term sponsorships. Anything you could think of that we use in our industry or in the glass world in general, this outlet and this venue and this podcast is designed to help basically showcase what it is you're doing. The podcast platform is evergreen, which means that this will be on forever and ever and ever, and which is pretty awesome. Unlike, terrestrial radio shows, once you do an interview on a radio show, they generally are never heard again. Even though a lot of radio shows are starting to record them, and then they put them on the internet and they call it a podcast, and it's not a podcast. It's just a replay of their radio show. This is a always ongoing show that you can stop, start, replay, rewind, fast forward, whatever. So it's pretty cool. So again, take advantage, guys, because I am opening this up to you for free to come on. Unless you want to sponsor the show, it's a little different. But again, it's a free venue, free outlet, free format, free show. Just hit me up on email. Also, our wiseguyradio.com website is up. Yay! We are so freaking excited. It has taken us since January that Xavier, who's my partner, and myself, we have been sitting down and really working on this bad boy and getting all the details down. And the website is up. You can go to www.wiseguyradio.com. That's WYZGUYradio.com. And we don't have every single thing up yet that we want to put up there, but the website is up and live, and the podcasts are actually on there as well. So you can contact us through the website, or you can contact me through my email or Instagram. My Instagram is at jmichaelglass. My Twitter is at jmichaelglass. My Facebook is Jason Borgholzer, and as my last name is pretty crazy, that's why I've gone by the whole J. Michael deal. Happy melting, everybody. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. And again, I hope you all enjoy. My guest today began his career as a flame worker in 2000 after being introduced to the flame by his roommate. After a short stint in the field, he decided to hang up the torch and join the corporate field where he felt there was a bit more consistency. After 5 years of heartache, he realized that the true happiness was behind the torch, and with a fuck it, let's do this attitude, he hung up his suit and tie and jumped back on the torch and hasn't looked back since. It's an honor to introduce you to Johnny Landini. What's going on, dude? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jay Michael. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, brother. Thank you for coming on. And by the way, folks, today is his birthday, so it's pretty cool to get him on here on his birthday. So happy birthday, dude.
All right. Yeah, thanks. It's great.
Yeah,
thanks.
Man. 21 all over again, which
Yep.
I don't know if I ever want to be 21 again. So going over your intro, dude. So it started off early in 2000, kind of about the same time I started in 99.
Yeah, I just ended up moving to Humboldt with some buddies of mine, and one of them happened to take up glass blowing, and I was going to college, and I mean, I instantly fell in love with it, as you have, and most people that do what we do. And my other brother Corey, we just all stood in the garage together and started doing it. And as you know, back then it wasn't like there's classes or like there wasn't a whole, like everybody was tight-lipped about how things were made and stuff. So you kind of had a couple of nice friends that showed us how to make some spoons and stuff. And after that, we were just like, how do they do that? How do they do that? And tried to figure it out on our own.
Hell yeah.
Just having a great time at it,
Yeah, that's rad. What kind of torch did you start using?
I started on a Carlisle. Somebody upgraded me to a Phantom, and then after about a year on that, I went back to Carlisle, and I've been on the same one ever since.
Hell yeah.
That's still going strong. It has one plugged hole, and it's been going since 2000.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I've had mine going since about the same time. I guess the first year I used a little miner, and then I had a local shop actually that the owner of the shop wanted to blow glass in his shop, so he's like, hey, I'll take lessons from you and I'll buy a kit and blah blah blah. And then it got to be season for Christmas and he couldn't take lessons anymore, so he was like, hey, you want to trade pipes for this torch kit? I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. So $1,400 or whatever the hell it cost back then. Yeah, so I've had the same Carlisle since then. And I'm the same way. I've got a couple clogged ports and it's ready to go to the cleaners per se and get all nice and redone. And but I'm the same way, dude. Like, I see a lot of cats out there rocking the GTTs nowadays, and I've used the Mirages and the Deltas, and I jumped on Coil's Kabuki a couple months back, and that was an amazing working on that torch. But I love the Carlisle. It's a nice heavy workhorse that you really can't fuck up or break.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about the flame and the noise it makes, and you can your flames from the noise sometimes and stuff. Kind of helps me out. Yeah,
I agree. And speaking of that, the noise, I've heard that some studios won't even let you bring a Carlisle into the shops because they're annoyed with the noise.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Well, it's not all the time you got to make a hiss, but every once in a while that hiss flame really works on some stuff,
and it's great for fuming, too. Great fuming.
Oh, God, yeah. That's pretty much why I went back to it at the time. I was still doing my production work and stuff, and somebody, needed some money, and they had a GTT, and I traded them and gave them, and they gave me. I traded them and gave them some money, and was using it for a while, and I was just like, I can't fume with it, and I just was like, screw it, and went back.
Hell yeah, yeah. I've seen a lot of kids using the the Smith hand torches for fuming that are running the GTTs.
I didn't have hand torches back then.
Yeah, I actually just last year finally, after frickin' 10,000 years of doing this, finally got myself a hand torch and a blow hose set up. It's like, I don't know why I didn't have this 5, 6, 10 years ago.
I'm exactly the same way. I got my hand torch about a year and a half ago, and it kind of just changed everything for me. Like, especially with joints and stuff like that. It's just like nearly impossible to do something clean without one.
Yeah, no, was the main reason I had gotten mine too, was for making sure my joint welds are nice and clean. And now everything's clean. Everything's clean.
I know.
It's amazing.
I love that.
Harbor Freight, from what I hear, I don't know if they carry the Smith, but they carry a generic kind of brand of the Smith hand torch for like half the price.
Oh, sweet. That's great.
Yeah, I've heard it's about $80 maybe, and then they have sometimes they're 40 and 50% off coupons you can get. So. Yeah, man, Harbor Freight's, that place is the shit. I like going there for all kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have a little wet saw with the diamond blade from them for sure.
Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, it blows me away that they can sell what they sell, the quality of products, for the prices that they sell it for.
I know.
It's mind-blowing. So when you started doing your production early on, what kind of stuff were you doing?
Just inside-out stuff, mostly. The old school style with stringers and cane, and lay it in. Open up the bubble and lay it in there, throw some fume in, and I did those for years.
Heck yeah, that was kind of your main staple.
Yeah, for sure. For the first few years, we were lucky enough to up in Humboldt, we knew a distributor that did the run, did the whole Cali run and stuff, and they'd come over once a week or once every 2 weeks and clean us out. If back then they're checking bowls and holes and stuff because we were pretty new at it, but it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, that's
able to make some money at it.
Yeah, that's a huge opportunity because I know like a lot of. I mean, nowadays it's a little bit different, but back then, it wasn't always the easiest to get your work out there unless you sold to a distributor or like you're saying you had somebody local like that could do it for you. Because I know like I had sold for a couple of years I sold to some catalogs, but I had two different guys here locally in my town that sold because in Florida we're at the time. Back then, even though we still are, but it was mostly tourist-based stuff. So the stuff we sold, were spoons you could pick up at a store for $15, $20, and it was like that for years and years and years. So, I mean, there was back in the day, I was getting like $1.50 and $2 for these little fucking 2.5-inch, 3-inch disposable pipes, basically for those that would come in for the weekend.
It was awesome to be able to have that distributor that would come over and buy our stuff. And, we all kind of just found our little pipe. Like, I had a little $12 inside-out spoon that they liked and did those for a while. And, before we used to go out and do little shows and stuff and go to, sell at music venues and stuff. But mostly it was just selling to them. And, it's crazy to think back now, like, all the time, like, all I wanted was have fun and travel around, and all I had to do was like blow glass and drive. I could have traveled around and sold it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I didn't even think about it. I was just like, these guys are coming over. I'm just gonna sell it to them.
Yeah, man. I always found too. It's like the idea of making more time and more money because you're behind the torch. To be able to pay somebody a percentage to sell your stuff for you in the long run is way worth it when it comes down to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of business going on, that since I, took it on as my full-time job and kind of took it to the next level as a glass blower, it added a lot of time in for, I had to add in a lot of time for sales, like, social media sales and, talking with customers directly and stuff. It's crazy how much extra time even that kind of stuff is,
Yeah, for sure. I know like I think it was probably maybe the second store I had ever gone into back when I was like just learning how to make bubblers, and this guy was a complete jackass. I'd heard ahead of time this guy was a jackass, and I go in there and literally I stood there for an hour while he took care of customers and blah, blah, blah. And then he gets to me, and he opened up my case of glass, and, it was probably like a $300 case. And he's like, I'll give you $100 for the entire case. And I was like, dude, are you kidding me? I mean, that was a complete turnoff, So I closed my case and walked out of there. But on the way out of that store, I happened to meet a guy who became my first distributor. It was kind of I guess I was supposed to be there kind of thing, But it was a huge turnoff at the same time. It was like, man, I can see why people don't like going out and selling shit.
Yeah, nowadays I have a few shops here in Denver that I sell to, and then a couple others, a few other shops in different random parts of the country, and then but everybody's so nice and cool, and I just like, I love selling to the shops I have right now and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a way different vibe than what it used to be.
Even not too long ago, just even like five or so years ago, I was going into shops out in like Portland and stuff when I lived there, and I'd be like, yeah, these are cool. And I'd be like, yeah, whatever, these are 15 or whatever. And they'd be like, oh, I maybe could give you like 11 or 12. And then I'm like, well, I look in their case and I'm like, well, what about these down here? These look about the same. That would match my retail price. And he's like, oh, I got those for 8. And he's like selling for 25 and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I hear you. That's what's with the whole social media platform nowadays. It's really changed the landscape, and just I think in every genre of sales and overall, but especially in our industry. I look out there at other artists and stuff, and it's cool to see people that paint and draw and do other artwork that are able to use social media as their market.
Yeah.
And it's it's a beautiful thing. It's really, really, really cool. I love it. So, kind of backtrack, dude. So, how long did you do the glass before you decided to hang up the old torch for a while?
I did it for a few years, probably 3 years, when I finished college. And then, I don't know, I just had a wild hair that told me I needed to wear a suit and go to work, So I went and got a job. I got a pretty crappy job, but anyway, I went and got a job wearing a suit, doing audio visual for a hotel, which is not a very fun or great job, but I thought, this is what I need to be doing. And I don't know, I just kind of wandering in my head, wasn't really like pinpointing any type of desires or anything. It just seemed like what I was supposed to do. But, after doing that for a while and just burning out of it, I am like, what am I doing? I have this something that I love to do. I was always doing it on the side and just for fun and stuff. I'm like, I just need to just do it. I'm doing it. And I did it.
Hell yeah. And said, fuck it and let's do it.
So, yep, I just started doing it and I made it happen, and it's not always easy, and it wasn't always easy, but like it's gotten to a place that it's a lot better, Even going back a little bit, back when I was first doing it, and I think it was probably around that time when the whole Operation Pipe Dreams happened and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was up at Humboldt, and the 101 North dudes were there, and they got all busted, and like I don't know, it was just like we're all like, what? We're making pipes, and now it's like just busted. Everybody's busted.
Yeah, man, it was a scary time, and I didn't really I knew what all was going on in the industry at the time, but like I didn't really realize how much it affected the artist itself until I saw Degenerate Art and seeing the cats on there, Jason Lee's, and talking about everybody was like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Because here in Florida, we were the same way, dude. Like I had this guy I was in business with. He was doing all the business stuff. I was running the studio. We had 8 employees. We had a website going. We were selling glass, so the ball was rolling. UPS was showing up every day for picking up, boxes and shit. And all of a sudden, we're downstairs, blowing one down, watching some Jerry Garcia birthday videos. And he's like, dude, the feds are in the fucking East Coast right now, shutting down this importer that was over there, bringing stuff in from India. And he's like, it's over. I mean, he just tapped out. And I'm like, dude, I am not tapping out because I still had other people that were coming to me for pipes. But we were like, well, maybe we can keep this going. I don't know. So we were making dildos and shot glasses and.
I know. Everybody started making dildos. I made some dildos.
Yeah, bro. This country was saturated with dildos for a long time.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
It can't even be that pleasurable for a chick. It's like.
Oh no, dude! I've heard.
Hard as a rock.
Bro, I've heard some stories that the glass dildo is the shiz. For sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they could.
All right, well, I'm misinformed then, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know from personal experience myself, but from the ladies that I've talked to out there, because I've had requests back in the day for people wanting me to make them for them, and I was like, sure. So I got kind of detail specific with what they were looking for, to make sure that they were correct. But the fact that it's borosilicate, the Pyrex wise, you can throw it in the microwave for a little bit, or you can throw it in your fridge and cool it down. There's different applications for it. You know?
Have a little warm water. I remember that.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
True.
Yeah. So it's so it's a interesting thing. But I know like when HBO had their Real Sex show on, and there was a guy, Dave, actually local here, and he was out of Tampa here in town, and he was one of the first cats out there that was known for making dildos. And he would take these boats out to, we have a little island out here. It's a little preserve called Shell Island. And back in the day, it was like a party hangout. Like all the high school, college kids would go out there and get shit-faced on the weekends. And he'd go out there with this boat full of girls and have these dildo parties and try them out and make sure that they were all the correct angles and blah, blah, blah.
Nice.
Dude, he was making a fucking killing making dildos. And then once Operation Pipe Dreams happened, it just saturated the market. I remember selling dildos to shops for like $75 wholesale, and they were selling them for like $150, $200. I couldn't get $20 for a dildo after that,
Right.
So, all right. So off the dildo topics. So
we're gonna bring back the dildo market.
Yeah, man. There's actually some kids out there. I part of a group called Torch Talk that I've been watching for a bit here. Anybody out there that's actually wants to see some cool shit on Tuesdays on YouTube. They do a live show on. It's called Torch Talk Tuesdays, and
oh, cool.
Yeah, and one of the guys on there on the show, he talks about making dildos. It's pretty. He still does it. It's pretty funny stuff. But
I'll have to check that out. Torch Talk on Tuesday.
Yeah, they have a Facebook page. It's just Torch Talk, and it's what's awesome with the community with these guys is it's a no bullshit community. So if there's any shit talking or any trolls on there, they're immediately blocked and taken off the site, like immediately. So it's,
cool.
then they have over 1,000 members now in the community. So it's a really tight knit. People are asking questions. It's a lot of good insight. And the guys that run the show, 3 of the 4 guys have only been blowing glass for maybe 2-3 years themselves. So it's pretty cool. It's to see it. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. So kind of a little business, I guess, business question. But when you went from the corporate job to the Torch, did you have any kind of like financial runway for yourself? Any money saved up so you could float yourself while you got yourself resituated at all, or did you just jump in full?
Honestly, it was just the humble style of making money on the side, with the growing scene. That kind of jumped me out of the corporate world and helped me. Like, I always wondered about that too. I know where you're from and stuff, it isn't an issue, but like where I was from, when I was learning glass blowing, and like when glass blowing was like really getting pushed and stuff, I always was just like, like how much, like, is it like weed related and stuff, just because people just had some time, like just extra time, like go to do things, that they couldn't normally do if they had to make money, only from the Torch or whatever. I don't know. It's just always something I always thought of.
Yeah, same
later
here.
on.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, dude. I've always wondered, because like in Florida, I mean, we've always had pretty heavy, strict laws. I mean, shit, dude, like 2 years ago, they were trying to pass a law to ban pipes completely across the state. And
I know.
It's,
I remember.
Oh man, like the shop owners were freaking
out. My
out.
girlfriend's from Florida, so she always tells me about how tight things are there, and how gnarly the laws were and stuff. And then just when it was just that short of time ago where they had a thing to outlaw pipes, I was just like, wow, are they serious?
Yeah, we were going way backwards. Like everybody's moving forward progressively, and we're progressively going backwards. It's interesting, especially because like we voted for medical marijuana last year, I guess it was, and more people voted yes for it than they actually voted in general for the fucking mayor or for the governor, I should say. It's like it's crazy. But
my girlfriend was showing me that, and yeah, go ahead.
Oh, there was a couple small little things though in the writing of the way that it was set up that I didn't agree with myself. So because of those little small things that were in there is one of the main reasons why it didn't get passed. And so they've actually rewritten it to be more beneficial, because honestly it was set up to where like like kids can go to a doctor and get prescribed it but not have to tell their parents type of thing. Like there was a lot of little small, like little weird little things that were involved in it that I didn't agree with myself. And so they've rewritten it to where it's like even like the police, like we have this Grady Judd, who's the sheriff of Polk County here. He's like the good old boy network. He's one of those kind of sheriffs that you look at him cross-eyed, he's going to throw you in jail. But he's also like a super cool guy at the same time. And he was all about like anti the whole thing, but he was anti of it because of the way it was written, and he even came out and said that. So I think once it passes, then I think people will be way more pro for it, and then hopefully we move forward. Because actually last week they were it was a deadline to sign up to be able to either have land or building space to grow in your whatever, for sale for medical marijuana. So it's coming little by little.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to eventually get there. It'll be great.
Oh man, I can't fucking wait, dude. I cannot wait.
It's such a simple little thing, and you don't, when you don't live in it, you don't really think about it and stuff. But now that I've been living where it's like totally legal for 3 years, I'm just like, it's just like, I don't want to live anywhere where it's not legal anymore. It's just too nice. It's just less things to worry about,
Yeah, I hate, man, because I live on a cul-de-sac, and the local sheriff department is by my house, one of their little local stations, and I know every night at 11 o'clock is when they do their little routes around here, and they come up and down my street, and I'm in here, blowing glass at 2 in the morning, and I got this glow coming out of my garage. So, but I've gotten to know the sheriffs also, so I don't know, they might be cool with me. But the helicopter flies over at night, dude. I'm like, oh my god, if they have their infrared on right now, my whole garage must be lighting up on that infrared radar thing. Like I'm in here, like I'm in here growing or something. It's hilarious. I get all paranoid and shit. I hate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I want to kind of get some emotion out of you. Like when you were at the job, like were you thinking about like being home on the torch, kind of thing, or was it like getting to a point where it was just making
No,
you crazy?
dude, you know what? At the time, I just kind of was just kind of lost, really. It wasn't anything, it's nothing. It's not very interesting or anything. It's just I was just doing it, and I was going through the motions, and I was a heavy drinker, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
It really, what it did for me was made me appreciate glass blowing just so much, just even more. Like, I love it. I love everything about it. I love I feel like I get to be a glass blower, and it's like, it just makes it even better. Like, It just makes me even happier with it.
Yeah, man.
Like, I don't even think about not doing it anymore. Like, I just know I'll do it till I die. Like, this is it. This is what I'm doing till I die. Like, and I don't know. I kind of feel like I give a little shout out to my grandpa. He was more a masonry guy, but he just like loved it, and he did it until he was in his 70s. And I don't know. I just feel like I'm carrying on. He passed the torch on to me, and it actually is a torch. In my time in life, like for him, it was masonry. There was no glass blowing or a torch, but who knows if there was? He might have been in it, Like,
yeah. Yeah, man, that's cool because like I look at the trades, the idea of being in a trade, because I mean we're in a trade that we do, even though it's an art form as well, but it is a trade, which I hope eventually as we grow as a community that maybe we can get a union set up one day, for ourselves.
Right.
But that being said, it's like I see the generations of kids coming up now, the millennials and what have you, and there's a whole different perspective of what they're looking at for their future, which is kind of dim in a sense because I don't think that any of them really know what they want to do except for they want to make a difference in the world, which is awesome. But the idea of being able to get yourself into a trade, because like the schools don't teach trades anymore. Like shop class doesn't really exist anymore. Like freaking PE doesn't exist, much less shop class, So it seems like, the idea of that we have this trade, because like, to make a living as a glass artist is a blessing, to be able to do what we do and get up every day and look forward to going out in the shop and whole 9 yards. So hopefully we can pass this on to the next generation, whether it's our kids or, the neighbor kid down the street or whatever, or even if we have a freaking glass blowing class in a high school. I mean, who knows what it's going to, the future holds. But it seems like if we can get out there to teach the kids out there that, yeah, you don't have to go to college necessarily. College is good and all, but you could spend $80,000 on a 4-year degree and still work at fucking McDonald's when you're all done. I mean, it's the way it comes out to nowadays. And being able to be self-employed and a business owner and follow your passions, because that really what's comes down to is following your passion. The whole money follows passion idea. But you got to have a trade of some sort to be able to do that. And we're all fortunate to be able to do that. And your grandfather the same way, being a Mason. It's pretty cool to see your influence from that as well. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, and I did my time. I went to college and all that stuff, and I felt like I learned a lot, and I definitely grew as a person from college. But I actually learned my career in college, but it was when I wasn't in class. It was when I was at home, when I was actually learning what I was going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all the same timing. It was just my class was in the garage with my buddies.
Heck yeah.
And it's still in my garage, and I don't know. I think it's just awesome that there's just so many outlets now for new things, new ideas, like being able to see glass blowing the way we can see it now. Like with classes or webinars or whatever. Like, it's just cool. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's just super fun.
Yeah, it seemed like it took the technology to get to a point where it needed to get us now to be as open as we are about it, because like you're saying, when you started the same with me, it's like nobody wanted to say anything. Yeah. Now it's freaking wide open.
Right. And it's still kind of, I still have mixed feelings sometimes about it because I still have that old mentality from when people were or weren't teaching me. Nobody wanted to tell you anything. And so it's part of me still every once in a while feels like that, but then I'm just like, it's just not like that anymore. I don't have to think like that,
Yeah, I think though that's good to think that way though, man, because like I don't want these. I mean, it happens, but it's the idea of coming in and having an appreciation for it, and not just coming in and being like, oh, cool, I'm a cocky glass blower, or look what I'm doing, kind of thing. It's like having this being, gracious and, saying this is a blessing that you're showing me what you're showing me right now. Because, like I'm the same way, dude. Like people want me to show them how to do stuff sometimes. And I'm like, well, you can watch, but I'm not going to necessarily say anything to you, type of thing. But then at the same time, like I want to open my mouth and like tell them everything at one time. It's like, it's a struggle, but it's also why I'm doing this podcast. Cause like besides the glass art, my whole goal with this whole show is to help the artists, male and female, not only become better artists, but become better business people, better, fit-wise and health and spiritually and the whole 9 yards, It's because we have the opportunity doing what we do to live the lives we want to live. Whether it's, we don't have to be multimillionaires, but the fact that I can get up in the morning and go work out in my yard, play with my kids and my dog, and then take a shower and a nap, and then spend the next 8 hours out in the studio working my ass off, instead of having to go do a 9 to 5, even though I still do that with Disney here and there. But still, we all have this amazing opportunity to do what we do, and I don't like when people just like take complete advantage of it and don't have an appreciation for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, one of the things that really pushed me forward to just take it on full force too was having kids, and like, just like this is the greatest thing ever to be able to do something that I just can't get enough of, and like being able to raise a family around it. I'm right here. It's like I get to be part of everything, and like I don't know. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything with them and stuff.
Yeah,
so far,
Yeah, it's awesome. Do you find like do you set yourself a schedule per se, like in terms of making sure that you have somewhat of a balance with your daily routines or whatever, or do you kind of just go?
That's definitely the biggest. That's the biggest struggle, is just getting to be on the torch in a consistent manner. We still struggle with it. I have a 3.5-year-old and a 5-month-old, and it's starting to get into a little bit more routine that I can get. I like to have, a scheduled time to blow glass, because I feel like I'm more productive than when I'm like, okay, everybody's cool. Okay, I'm going to be out there for a couple hours. It's just not. It's a little more scattered. I like to be like, tomorrow by at 10, I'm on the torch till 4. Like try and get everybody dialed in for the day and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I know myself. I'm trying like doing, because now that I'm home full time compared to when I was at Disney for the past 3 years, I'm in the same boat. Like I'm trying to get into a routine, because when I used to work for myself, I would do like 3 and 4 hour blocks at a time, to give myself a break as well. But it was nice to be able to, work 3 hours and then go take a nap or have lunch or, whatever. But now that I have a business, before I did this, I treated it like a business, but it was kind of like I'm this hippie out in my studio blowing glass, smoking pot and having fun, even though I had a family and stuff, then. But I didn't really take life seriously, much less, my family or my business, Where now that I'm, almost 40, I'm way different mentality. So now that I'm doing this, like I'm trying to really set a schedule. Like, I get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning if I can, and come turn my kiln on and spend that first hour of my day to myself before everybody else gets up, and then the kiln's getting hot, and then we can all do breakfast, take the kids to school, come home, and then I'm ready to work for the next, 6-7 hours. But it's like still trying to find, like, when my kids go to bed, instead of me just coming into the studio and getting back to work, I really need to have some time with my wife and then go to bed and be in bed by like 10 o'clock, kind of thing. But it's not that easy. Like,
Yeah, I definitely have moved to morning guy, and then try to go to bed early. But it's hard sometimes too, because then I just want to like relax with my girl and watch a show or something, and then I don't know. But it's tough. It's definitely a tough to be self-motivated with balancing everything. It's just hard sometimes, but it's not like hard. To me, I always feel like I'm bitching when I complain about it a little or something, because it's like it's not hard compared to like some people's struggles and stuff. Like my struggle is, oh, do I take the kids for a walk or do I get on the torch early?
Right.
It's like it's like, you're just a fucking asshole for complaining about this shit sometimes. You know?
Yeah, it's a shitty paradox that we're in sometimes. It's like, what the? Yeah, we can't complain about it, but we got to complain about it at the same time.
Everybody's got to complain about something, I feel like.
Yeah. It just makes us human, dude. It comes down to it. It's like you see these kids, it's like, well, should I smoke the OG or should I smoke the Northern Lights? Like, I don't know what to do. I'm confused.
And then with the collectors, it's awesome. Should I use the Wise Guy, or should I use the Tony Landini, or should I use my Elbow Dino? I don't know what I want to smoke this out of right now.
Yeah, man, I see kids nowadays on these videos, they'll have like 6 or 7 rigs all lined up, all hot, ready to go, and they're just going crazy.
It's so hilarious.
And
I
expensive.
fucking love it with their little pads and stuff, and they got just the little section, and it's just so great. It's just like they're glass geeks. You know, it's like that's how I feel like I am. I just geek out on glass. I go to Glasscraft. What's this color? What's this color? Have you guys used it? Like, just like. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it's cool, man, when you find people out there that collect the glass that appreciate it as much as those of us who make it. And if they anything, they appreciate it almost more than we do. Like when they have it.
Yeah, I had a guy just yesterday, and we worked it out, but like he wanted to get a piece of mine, and I said, okay, sure, and I said, send me your email and I'll invoice you for a deposit or whatever. And he sent it like 9 a.m, and then I wasn't able to get back to him till like 3 p.m. And he was all pissed off at me. Dude, I sent that thing 7 hours ago and you didn't respond. And he got all mad at me and stuff. And I was like, whoa. He's like, you glass blowers, and I'm a collector, and I'm serious, and you guys are all flaky and all this stuff. And I was like, whoa. I like calmed him down, and I talked to him, and I was just able to be like, relax, dude. I was with my kids. I'm sorry. I want to make you appease and all this stuff. And it was just, he was just very like adamant and aggro, and he's a collector, and how dare I disrespect him and stuff. And I was like, I wasn't, I promise. And like, so I don't know. It was just like, he's definitely on an extreme end of it, but it was just like, he's passionate about it, man.
Yeah, there's it's amazing. Unfortunately, the passion comes out that way, but once you can talk to him and let him understand the reality of what we do, then they calm down. And everything's good to go.
That's what I did. And he was like, dude, I'm sorry for being a dick. He's like, I had somebody that was repairing my piece, and they kept flaking on me. It took 3 months to get my piece back and all this stuff, and he was just venting on me. But it was just like, I was like, whoa.
Too funny, dude. Hell yeah. Gotta love that shit, especially when it's like first thing in the morning, you wake up to it.
Yeah. I know.
Just makes your day.
But I finished his piece. It's in the kiln, so
hell yeah.
Should be happy in the morning, hopefully.
Hell yeah. Hey, could you send me some pictures of it so I can put it on the show notes since we're talking about it?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Sure. So speaking of that, man, I dig your line that you're doing. Like, I don't know if it's your current line, but the octopus tubes that you're doing. So kind of give me a background on those. Like, what started the idea, or like where did that whole thing come from? The octopuses.
It's just I've always loved octopuses, and I don't know. They're just so intriguing and stuff. But that being said, I don't know. It was just one day in the shop. It was when after the corporate thing, and I was just doing proto, and I smoked some weed, and I was all inspired, and I was looking at something. I'm like, I bet I can make. I think I did something with like a coil wrap or something, and I was just like, I bet I can make that into an octopus head for the mouthpiece. And like, I don't know, it just started going from there, and I just kept going with it, and it's just evolved into what it's become.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I was kind of hoping it was like that, because it's always fun when something like that happens, where you're like, you see something out of it, and you're like, oh shit, I could make that into that. Or like a friend will come over in the same way. Like I've been in the middle of making a piece where I had like a direction I was going, and then like a buddy will stop by. He's like, dude, are you making this? I'm like, no, I wasn't, but I am now.
I know.
It's pretty cool, dude. So yeah, man, because I've always been a fan of the old octopi, and it was one of my lines I did for a while, and to see your work, it definitely was cool, because it's your way you're doing them is a totally different way that anybody else out there is doing it. So it's fun to see a unique style with the octopus, because people love that shit. The octopus is just like one of those weird, interesting, funny, ugly, intelligent creatures.
And it's definitely, I listen to your podcast and I listen to some other glass blowers and stuff, and a lot of them say the same thing that we all kind of have gone into, of finding like a little niche for yourself, and like where it develops from or how it develops, and like the whole process. It's like really cool, and like there's plenty of people that make octopus stuff, and there's plenty of people that do coral reef stuff and everything. I'm not inventing anything new, but sometimes it's just like, it's like music. Every chord, every note's been played. It's just like putting them in different arrangements and shit. It's like,
exactly.
It's just one of those things,
Yeah, I was actually listening to. I don't know how much podcasts you listen to, but I listened to the Tim Ferriss show. If anybody out there that doesn't listen to Tim Ferriss, you guys should all check him out. The guy's amazing. But his show is very free and flowing and everything. But this last episode he had was with Laird Hamilton and Gabrielle Reese and another one of their friends who's a trainer. Like it was almost a 3-hour episode. It was really cool. But Laird was saying like the whole idea of everything we do now has already been done. What we're doing is we're taking someone else's idea that's been done and we're just making it our own, or making it more efficient, or making it better, or whatever. But it's like the wheel's been invented already, so we can't reinvent it, but we can take our heart and soul and personality and put it into that idea and hopefully make it better, and then continue to do that and progress with it and evolve with it. That's definitely a cool idea.
Yeah, that's how I kind of look. That's how I kind of look at it too, And then you have, like, people that actually push the medium and develop new techniques, as well. But it's harder to do something like that because everything has been. Well, it hasn't though, because 5 years ago, we could have said that, and then look at the glass now and be like, damn.
Yeah, bro, you see like a Joe Peters banjo collab. It's like, holy fuck, were those guys on LSD or something?
Exactly.
Like, how the hell they do that shit? It's mind blowing.
Exactly.
And I know how they do it, kind of, sort of, but I
That's
know,
the thing.
it's like, but do I really?
That's what I get off on. I go into Illusions or something around here with like just the phenomenal pieces, and I just look at it and I'm like, how do they do that? Like. And I do it. That's what I do. And I usually can figure things out kind of or close. Sometimes I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing,
So it just makes it, it's fun. That's just the fun part of it. Like, it's just fun.
Yeah, that's why I like your style and your attitude too, dude, because like you appreciate not only what you do, but you appreciate the glass. Like you love going out and seeing this shit, out there on the shelves. I love it too. It's like the art that's being created nowadays, like I was saying, like, you see like a Joe Peters banjo elbow collab or some shit. It's like,
yeah,
I just want to take it in the backyard and have sex with it or something,
I know. It's just like, I don't know. It's amazing. And it makes it like never get old to me,
Yeah, definitely. There's always something fresh and new being done. It's
and I don't
badass.
know. I think the appreciation for it as well, to be able to do it for a living, has made it, for me personally, even when I'm doing my production line and stuff, every piece I love. I like it. Like I like making it. Like every little octopus chillum, or even just like a little inside out spoon or something. Like I like making it. I'm never like, oh. Sometimes when it's real hot out, I'm a little, oh.
Yeah.
But that's about it, And
Yeah.
You're in Florida, so you can't be bitching about heat, like whatever, dude.
Yeah, bro. My legs are sweating right now, actually, as we talk. So it's brutal. We've actually had some nice tropical rain come in this past couple of days, so it's like this is my favorite kind of weather we have here. Besides like March or February, March time, but yeah, dude, the heat sucks. But I'm the same way. Like if I don't want to make it, if I don't like what I'm making, I will not make it. I refuse to. I'm not going to do this. But like one of my distributors I'm selling to, they've just recently got an exclusive item for me, which was a brand new item for me. Like I've made chillums since I started from day one. I mean, I used to make these little 9 mil freaking bats, all day long by the hundreds,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
but I haven't made a chillum in a long time. And these guys, I've been making these my little wise guy carb cap dabbers, and they're like, well, can you take this and make it into a chillum? And I was like, I never even thought about that. Sure. How dumb am I?
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. So we, did some R&D and figured out exactly what we wanted and how to look of it. And, I made sure it functioned properly in the whole 9 yards. And now it's like, I fucking love them. Like, they're cute as shit. It's a whole new thing for me. It's a brand new item. And I'm totally like falling in love with them all over again. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think like on your same note with what you're doing, you have a character. I mean, your octopus it's like your character. So everyone's got a little different personality to it, a little different look. And my wise guys are the same way. Like, I can make 100 fucking things in one, shot, which I don't, but I could. And every one of them is a little bit different because I want them all to have that little bit of different character and personality to them.
Yeah, it's like it's just like when you get into that level, it's like higher in production, but it's still production work, but it's just the next level,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But you got to start off at the base. Like I know a lot of kids that come, Go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember when I first started glass blowing, and I had one buddy that was showing us inside out spoons and stuff, and I had been on the torch a week or something, and I'm like trying to put some of these initials in there and stuff, and he's like, no, dude. Just make a pipe, bro. Just make a pipe. Like, you need to, like, you're trying to get you're way ahead of yourself, And, like, I had, even, like, my work now, sometimes I'll get an idea or I'll have a vision and, I'll sketch it out or whatever, and then I see it, and, like, then I think, how do I get to that point? Like, I can't go straight. So I'm getting better to the point where I can go straight to it, but sometimes I have to, like, I don't know, get close to it and then get closer to it and then get closer to it. And then I'm like, oh, there it is.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, man. I know what you mean. Because, like, my buddy Christian, who I'm actually going to be bringing on the show, he's a soft glass artist. And he's also a metal worker. And the guy's an amazing artist. But a couple years ago, we were talking, and he was showing me some of his R&D pieces he was doing. And he called them sketches. And I had never really heard the reference outside of drawing on paper as a sketch. And they were all in clear, but they were all shapes and different concepts he was going for aesthetic look, not even for like pattern and design, but all about like the aesthetic shape of the piece. And he referred to him as a sketch, and I was like, damn, that's brilliant. Like, because I draw all my shit on paper, but now I'm at a point now where if it's a brand new thing, like you're saying, like I've never done before, or it's a progressive thing where I kind of have an idea how to get there, but I'm not really sure. I'll make that sumbitch in clear just to try to figure out the A to Z steps. And then if it breaks on me, okay, no big deal. It's all clear. I'm not wasting crushed opals and frickin' milli chips and all this color and shit,
Right.
And then you get the piece made and at what your vision was, and then it's like, oh, yeah, this is fucking awesome. I'm glad I did that sketch first.
It worked.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah. That's rad, dude. So what do you see any kind of, like in terms of your production line you're doing now, do you see any, like, progression of where you want to go with it and with what you're doing?
I feel like I definitely have ideas on which direction I'm going, and I have I definitely have new like quote unquote characters or whatever I'm working on and stuff too. But right now I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's all one piece, kind of like I'm making all these individual pieces, but like they're all like part of the same big piece,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know when I'm gonna be done with it, but like right now I'm just working on it. I'm still working on it, and I just like them to get better and look cooler. I don't know. I like them I want them to pop when you look at them, I want them to I just want them to be at the level that I want them to be at, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, my wise guys are the same way. Like I look back at like some of the first ones I was doing, and they were cute and fun, but like I was having issues with cracking and stuff, and like the eyes are all white, so I shouldn't say all of them, but when I started, I was using just like a solid white for the eyes, and because of the COE is a little bit different, and I also at the time didn't have a hand torch, so it wasn't very clean, and then the color being a little different on the COE, so I was having all these cracking issues, and then I took one of the first, literally the first class I ever took as a class was with Steve Sizelove Quill, taught a class here in Florida, here in Tallahassee. And for one, it was amazing to go and see these guys work. But watching Steve Seislove pull down color and mix color up, like I've always mixed color, but I never really thought about mixing color the way he mixed color. And once I saw that, I was like, shit, I got to start doing this for the eyes. Like, if I can just thin down the white just enough to where it's got enough clear to make the COE enough to where it works. Like, all these things I never really thought about, that by taking that class, it opened my eyes to a whole different realm of opportunity and cleanliness to my glass. So now my eyes are a little bit more transparent. They're not quite as opaque as they used to be. And I have, like, 98% success rate now, where before it was maybe like a 60% success rate, you know? So now I don't mind going full board and doing a bubble trap body or throwing crushed opals in there or doing a solid dichroic, you know, whatever, because I'm not too worried about the piece cracking on me now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm still, and that's the other thing I love about it too. Is it's just that you're constantly learning and you're never going to be done. Like, I'll never be done learning.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah, I agree.
That makes it awesome. Like, it's awesome like that.
Yeah, man, because I love to learn. I mean, like, I've gone to college, but like when I first got into college, my dad was pushing for me to be a doctor, and like, you know, and I've always wanted to get into the medical field, so I started college in pre-med, and instead of studying my anatomy classes, I was drawing in my classes, so I ended up dropping out until I really knew what I wanted to do, which was to be an artist. So I just went and took art classes, you know, just because I wanted that background and that education, and it was working towards a degree either way, but still. And that was even before I was blowing glass. And then once I got into the glass, I was like, man, like you're saying, it was like every day I was learning something new. Besides the science that's involved, which I love as well. You know, like I love all the molecule talk, and you know, there's just, you know, it's so much. There's so much involved.
The kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff that I'm still constantly seeking out and learning, and like, you know, little things like, you know, how long to kiln things for and certain colors, and like there's so much information out there now that you can like strike these colors that before I was never striking because I didn't know what I was doing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like trying to, like, I've been using a lot of amber purple for it lately, and
amber purple.
You know, I love using amber purple rod. Like I can get that shit to strike all day long, but now I got into more of the Fritz, and it's a kick in the nuts sometimes because I'll get a piece out of the kiln and it still looks like a silver strike, or it looks like, you know, there's no purple whatsoever because of the haze that I created on there. And now our Carlisles, the Carlisles are a little rough on striking colors. Like they'll reduce colors a little bit too much sometimes. But that being said, it's still, like you're saying, like learning how to make this work with the vision that I have and how to make the color come out. But it reminds me, I'm bringing Nate on from Profound Glass to talk about opals and stuff here pretty soon.
Cool.
And because you know, because like when we first started back in the day, you know, opals were available, but they weren't as popular. And now, you know, I'm hoping that it's not a trend. I don't think it's going to be a trend. I think the opals will continue to evolve, like they have into the crushed opals and stuff.
Yeah, I buy a lot from Profound Glass, and that's just another aspect. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, man, and they're great customer service, great company, great people. You know?
Oh yeah.
But I still every once in a while I'll have an opal crack on me, and they even tell you, you know, it's the way they are. But I want to bring them on because I want to discuss that. Like I want to really get the nitty gritty about like the proper and thickness of encasements based on the opal size. How long should they anneal? How many cycles should they go through before you should not cycle them anymore?
To hear it.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked on it. Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
That's awesome.
So we're just trying
to. Yeah, that's the other thing too. That what you're doing with this, like I've already learned a bunch of shit.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, cool. I'm
just
glad to hear.
Everybody has something to offer to the conversation, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also myself too, like, you know, like why I want to do this, because I'm constantly learning, and I love to talk to you guys and learn something different, you know? So like I'm learning stuff from you already just from talking about this. So it's a cool opportunity, man. It's the whole podcast, like about this, the last December, I think it was, they were talking on one of the shows I listened to about how the podcast, like 2015 was going to be the year of the podcast. And now there's like 250,000 podcasts out there. I mean, literally, which is crazy. Yeah. But a lot of them are like business entrepreneur oriented, you know, bullshit. And but it gave me the idea to do one that's kind of business related, but really it's just talking about glass blowing and the art of what we do, and sharing the passion and sharing the knowledge and trying to figure out a format to do it. And there's a couple other Glasscaster was another podcast that's out there. She hasn't done a show recently. I think it's been about a year, but I just found, I was like, dude, I got to do this, you know, because the idea to be able to have this open format, this show will be on the internet for ever and ever and ever and ever. You know, it's like there's, you know, it's basically every episode's a different lesson that you can go on there and listen to and learn something new. And then I can learn as I'm going through this. So
that's what I'm enjoying about it. And then I look forward to like hearing from the dermatologists and stuff, and like all kinds of things that I am concerned about. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, I have a really good exhaust system, and I use a blast shield that has a UV block, and I put on sunscreen, but I still don't really know what's going on. Like, you know, like I want to learn more about it.
Yeah, I'm actually Monday. I'm going on the 20th is my appointment, because I have like eczema and some other allergy skin issues that I deal with. So you know, I'm going for that, but I'm also going because of the 16 years of exposure that I've been beating my skin up. Besides the fact that I'm a beach bum, but also being exposed to the torch for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the Carlisle's a hot fucking torch, and the sulfur, you know, flares that come off of it and everything else. It's like, I'm really curious. Like, I'm actually going to do a video of me working so she can see my exposure. Like, because I don't even know if she understands what it is that we do. So I'm going to be like, hey, here's a video. Here's what we do. You know? Yeah. Because, I mean, even like our hands are exposed or our forearms are exposed, so we can get, you know, potentially get skin cancer on our hands and our arms. I don't know. You know?
I mean, my hands and fingers, I call it glassblower hands, but like they're checked up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially
like years of exposure and too short of punnies and, you know, too short of blow tubes and just all kinds of nonsense.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm definitely excited about it. And, you know, I'm also going to be going and talking to a specialist that deals with blood and talk about heavy metal exposure and stuff. And there's a lot of natural things you can take, like detoxes, basically, to help clean out your blood. From what I understand, I don't know if that shit's just, you know, snake oil salesman trying to sell you something, but I'm really curious to find out about that as well. Because I'm the same way. I'm in my garage, but I also know that there has been times in my life of doing this where my ventilation wasn't exactly the best, or I've been in studios.
Right now I'm good to go, but that's the thing I want to learn more about, because there has been times when my ventilation wasn't great, or, you know, a puff of gold flew up a little closer than I was expecting, or, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and it's something that's kind of interesting that I don't know how many people out there know, but at Disney where I work, we've got 4 studios throughout the parks that we work in. Well, now we have 3, but we have no ventilation. Like, there's no ventilation hoods at all above us. And for years and years and years, a lot of the guys were using a lot of frit. So, you know, it's kind of interesting. Yeah. And I don't think that, you know, if I got sick, I couldn't sue them because I had 15 years or 14 years of experience before I got there. So they can be like, oh, you got sick before coming here, you know, kind of thing. But it's definitely an interesting situation. Like, the ventilation we have there is the air conditioning systems, basically. Even though, like, I'm in a wide open room, I've got plenty of airflow and blah, blah, blah. It's still, you know, it makes me nervous, man, you know, knowing that I'm there exposed, even just to the gases that are coming off my torch. You know, it's interesting stuff. So, man. So, to kind of move forward, do you have any kind of like any kind of recognition you've gotten, or any kind of awards you received, or anything like that?
No, not really. You know, I feel like I'm just plugging along. You know, I feel like the, you know, quote unquote recognition or whatever, it's just from customers, you know, and my shops that I sell to, and, you know, the customers I sell, that I make them custom pieces or something, just hearing their feedback. And you know, we were talking earlier, and you were saying how your buddy came in and said, you're like, oh, here's a carb cap, and they're like, oh, could you make it a chill, and you turn it this way, and you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Like, I've gotten so many of those from customers. I know some people don't like doing custom orders and stuff, but I really like it for those kind of reasons, because like, I have a big imagination, and I feel like I'm constantly coming up with new things and stuff, but when you have a couple other people in the mix, or somebody that's like, can you do this? I'm like, well, I don't think I can't do it. Let's try it, you know? Like,
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, man, I agree.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, you know, going back to the whole Disney thing, for probably the first 2 years there, I mean, I think my first year alone, I did like 20 grand in custom work. Like we do like our production line that we all have, but when I was over in Epcot, sitting in the Mexican Pavilion, it's a small store, and people were sent to me because none of our other artists at Disney do custom work. Like they just do their own thing and they go home. And I love doing custom shit. And I've only had to give one person a refund because I first told them yes. They came back to get their piece. What they wanted was an alpaca. All right. So I go online and look at pictures of this fucking alpaca, and I've always wanted to own them. I've always wanted to have an alpaca farm, but I just couldn't get the goddamn thing figured out. It just drove me nuts. So I just gave up. I'm like, I'm gonna give this guy his money back. That's what it came down to.
Yeah.
But with my glass itself, like I do a lot of character work, and I wouldn't necessarily do the character work if I wasn't requested by my customers out there asking me to do it. Which is kind of silly. Like I think I'm like, damn, why don't I just go ahead and just make that anyways? But it's like you're saying, like I've got a crazy imagination, but my imagination is really geared towards what it is that I'm working on at the current moment, not something outside of that, So it's always fun when someone else comes in. But that also brings me to coming up in October, which I was hoping to actually launch here with the podcast. We have the Build Your Own Wise Guy site that we're going to be doing, and I have a generic already version out there of it right now. But basically, the idea is that, yourself included, an artist can become a member of our site and have a template created of a piece that they do that is more or less their bread and butter type of piece. But it's something that they can do as it can be customized, right? Like my Wise Guys have a basic format foundation, and you can add different color wings and brows or whatever. So like your octopus could be the same way. And so a customer can go onto the website, choose your template, pick what colors they want. They can pick where they want to have it done. And then when they go to the checkout, they will then pick what store they will pick it up from, because I want to include the smoke shops in this. I don't want it to necessarily be a direct to the customer sale. So we're looking at bringing on affiliate smoke shops to be members of this stuff, so that way the customer that goes on there orders it can go pick it up from their local shop, and that way it's a win-win situation.
That's a cool idea.
For everybody. But it also takes out the bullshit of, because sometimes with custom work it can be a little difficult, because now with the customer becoming educated even more so than they've ever been. Like they know these colors, they know what they're looking for.
I know.
So it's
yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, but like it's like it's not that bad of a curse. But yeah, you get somebody. I have had plenty of customers that get very, very precise in what they'd like to see on their piece. And you're like, I like to do a little bit more open, like, oh, you want, like, give me a couple of colors and a basic size or something, and then I'll make you something, Yeah, exactly. But sometimes people are like, I want 3 opals, I want a sphere and a cube, and I want to, they get super precise. So it can be a little bit, a little bit of, it just adds a little bit more work to it, but it's not everybody. It's just, and it's still a cool thing. It's just some people are, I want, everybody keeps wanting Illuminati right now. It's like, I want this with Illuminati and blah, blah, blah. So it's like,
yeah, it's funny, man. Speaking of Illuminati, it's interesting to see, like I was talking with Chip last week on the show, and, you hear about this bubble. I don't think the bubble ever really existed. It's, I think our industry is really based on trends and what's hot and what's not type of thing. And it cycles, like, again, the opals are coming back. The glow colors, I mean, shit, dude. Remember when, Atomic Kumquat and Electric Flamingo came out? We all were like, this is cool, but it kind of sucks. And now it's like, everybody wants this shit, And then Illuminati came out, and that's, I remember back in the day when we were getting uranium glass out of Texas from this guy, and it was crazy how much this shit would glow. It was like going back to the old Vaseline glass back from like the Depression era when they were using it in soft glass. And so it's cool to see it cycle back, but now I'm kind of curious, like, is this glow glass going to evolve, or is it going to just fizzle out and then the next trend's going to start, like Lemon Drop, dude. Like when Lemon Drop came out, that shit was so hot, and then it's $100 a fucking pound, and you couldn't
I was
find
listening
it.
to that podcast that you had with that guy, and he was talking about slime and stuff too, and it's definitely it's interesting to see the trends and how they ebb and flow, and especially with social media and what's going on, and then from customers too that request things, So it's like, like they know before I know.
Exactly. Yeah,
they know different new colors before I do, and I'm at Glasscraft every day. Like not every day, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. I get people requesting colors. I'm like, can you send me a picture, please?
Oh yeah,
I don't know what
absolutely.
you're talking about. I need a link to the website so that I can tell you if I can use it or not, if I can even get it. It's pretty good stuff. But I'm looking forward to, because I know there was a company, I think they're still around, GL33, where they were doing glow in the dark and also black light reactive, and it depended on which one you used. They had a different color spectrum to it, and they were around for a bit with that, and it was pretty good stuff, but it was still a little tricky to use. Where like I used this Illuminati recently, and it was a little stiff, but it was like butter too at the same time. It was like, man, this stuff's really nice. I'm not really fighting it, and when I pulled out the kiln the next day and turned my black light on, I was like, holy shit, this stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Fun.
I just need to get a black light room and have my posters back up on the walls that I've got stored away somewhere, or something. Get the hookah out and the cloth blankets and my tapestries and.
Who knows? This trend might bring back black light posters because people are gonna have the black lights in there.
Hell yeah.
In their dab section of their house.
Yeah, well, especially now with like the portable. Like my brother, he was. We did a pennant show recently, and he's been doing glass now for around 4 years, and he's blowing me away with what he's doing. I'm really proud to see he's actually competing in champs. He got accepted into the champ games this year for the new guys coming in. I'm pretty stoked for him. And
cool.
But yeah, man. But we did this pennant show, and he had this little portable black light, and people would come up and look at the bench, and he's like, check this shit out, and he'd like hit his pennant with the freaking black light, and the thing just glowing on the bench, But it was a great sales technique on his part, because sometimes he'll do an eye that glows or the whole thing glows or whatever. But I think it's cool to see the trends come back and then they evolve and they get better, and it leads to the next thing. It's this constant evolution of what we're doing. So I definitely will continue to cheer it on because it just makes everything more apt. Because, dude, when we started, bro, I had fucking cobalt, amber purple, jade green, which fucking sucked. It cracked on everything that I used.
Yep, it cracked all the time inside out.
And then maybe like butterscotch and ruby, which got real livery. And then there was like the gun metal or whatever, the little small glass pieces. And then there was like white dwarf that was being made for a while, and that was really it.
Yep.
And then like the blue moons came out, and as the green exotics, and like as the colors started to evolve, it was like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, that's another thing that's really cool about the industry is just like color companies and like people putting tubes together, and I don't know, it's awesome.
Yeah, I've always been jealous by the Moretti and soft glass workers that they've had this huge palette of color for 300 years. I mean, literally, forever and ever and ever. And now they're figuring out how to make it in Boro. So it's definitely, it is badass. I love it.
Yeah, it's like, that's what I love about it too. It's like, it's a new trade, it's a new market and stuff, but it's also hundreds of years old, like the core of it,
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think the guys that are doing the Millie work now, like I love the fact that the Millie is where it is right now. Like seeing like Jason Lee, Jason Lee's been this bad. I mean, I've looked up his work forever and ever, and then to see him getting into the Millie work now and then incorporating that into his work, it's like it's inspiring as shit to see it. Because this like we're saying this stuff's been around for hundreds of years. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's really
absolutely
amazing. So to talk a little business with you, I'm just kind of curious, in terms of yourself financially wise, do you have any, like, what do you do for bookkeeping and, or do you have an accountant?
Yeah, I mean, I could be better, but I kind of use PayPal as my main source of direct sales, and then it kind of keeps track of everything for me because I invoice through it, and I have my yearly totals at the end of the year, how much I brought in and everything. So I kind of do it kind of half-assed, but still kind of like I have a PayPal MasterCard and I have a business PayPal account, and I use, the MasterCard to do all my business transactions, so everything's just all in one place. So at the end of the year, it's easy to go in and pull out, how much I spent at Glasscraft and how much I spent at Denver boxes for packing materials and how much I spent on propane, how much I spent on oxygen. You know, it's all right there, and I can add it up pretty quickly. And so I'm kind of doing it like that, you know.
Yeah. Have you had any issues with PayPal at all, being that you are a piper? Or do you...
No. You know, I do not put specifics in my description lines in my invoicing. I don't know if it matters or not. I just heard somebody one time say something about it, so I never put like, you know, mini tube or recycler or anything like that. I just always put like rust and blue octo piece, you know?
Exactly. I do the same thing with my owls. I just say like blue and green owl custom.
Yeah.
Same thing, yeah, because I have heard that with PayPal, that if they know you're selling pipes through them, that they're going to freeze your accounts and take all your money, and, you know, nightmare type shit I've heard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I try and keep it, you know. But other than that, you know, it's that, and then, you know, just, you know, promoting through social media with Instagram and Facebook, and then also the stores that I sell to. I don't really sell to any distributors at the moment, but you know, I have a good amount of wholesale work and a decent amount of retail work, so I just kind of keep it like, you know, keeping the balance, like you said. I just try and keep that balanced as well, so I don't get too much work in one area or the other, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I know as simple as it is to keep track of your numbers, it can also be, you can make it complicated, and it doesn't need to be made complicated. Yeah,
that's the thing. I think I do it a little half-assed, because it could even be easier if I wanted it to, but like with apps on phones and, you know, FreshBooks and things like that. But I just haven't quite gotten there yet, but I feel like I'm doing pretty good the way it's going now. So yeah. The FreshBooks actually is what I use myself. I do invoicing through PayPal, but now FreshBooks allows you to accept money through them through PayPal, or through even a debit card or credit card. Yeah, it's pretty nice. So I've just gone ahead and just keep using them, and it's like $20 a month or $30 a month. There are some limitations to it, and you can upgrade and get more, you know, more stuff, more bells and whistles per se. But for $30 a month, dude, you know, I have it set up to my checking account, my business checking account, so I have all my everything's imported. And I'm the same way. Like, I'm not, you know, I try to practice what I preach, but I'm not the best with, you know, keeping track of my shit. So, you know, it's definitely nice to build, like you're saying. Like, I've got my PayPal, MasterCard, and I do the same thing. It's like I try to just make it for business. You know, I'll sneak a Starbucks in here and there and blah blah blah. But you know, I try to just keep it for business, because it's definitely convenient. And it's pretty easy. Like, it's pretty easy for me where I'm set up here with, like, I buy all my raw materials from Glasscraft, and so it's like at the end of the year I just go in and get a year-end total, and boom, that's easy. And like, you know, my oxygen company, same thing, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or it's just like keep it all. It's super simple, like the way I do it. Super simple.
Are you running on liquid oxygen?
Right now I'm doing liquid, but I'm saving up for one of those HVO systems.
Nice.
Have you checked those out, the high-volume oxygen systems?
I haven't recently. Several years ago, I mean, I'm talking like 8-10 years ago, I was looking into them, and at the time, they were like $10,000 and really noisy, and you might be able to run a Carlisle on one kind of thing.
Right.
You know, but I'm understanding now that the technology's gotten better, and they're way more efficient, and they're not as loud as they used to be.
Yeah, there's a company, High Volume Oxygen. You can look at them on Facebook and stuff, but they have a cool system for like a Carlisle like we run. It's still a little pricey. It's like 7G or something with a couple of concentrators in their machine, but it's just like they demoed it here. I went and watched and checked it out with them, and like it's just awesome. Like, you know, a couple of years and you'll be zeroed out on oxygen, you know.
Is it something that you use to fill tanks with, or do you run right off the machine?
It's like they have like their brain and is hooked up to a tank, and then for like a Carlisle you could run like 2 concentrators, and it pressurizes it up to like 100 pounds, and then they have a new system that goes up to 150 pounds.
Okay.
And so basically it just fills up your tank, and then when you're using it, it turns on and starts filling and keeps filling it while you're working, and, you know, depending on your torch, you'll just kind of like fluctuate in there. Your tank will just fluctuate as you're working. If you're raging hard, you could get a little lower, but then at night you go to bed and it fills it back up to 98, and it seems pretty awesome,
Yeah, it sounds like I need to call those guys tomorrow. They'd be fun to bring on the show to talk about that product.
Yeah, it's something that I've been looking at for the past year, and I've been saving up for one just because, nowadays.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, because I'm paying like $100.
I'm going to be doing this for a long, long time, and like I can get into something like that, and I picked their brain about like what could break on it and how much is upkeep on it and all this stuff, and they're talking 20 years and stuff before replacements of certain things, and so I'm like,
hell yeah.
Seems like a pretty good way to go.
Yeah, dude, that's a huge investment. I gotta call those guys tomorrow. Not to buy one right away, but to talk about them, because that sounds, I've got buddies that fill their own tanks, type of thing. They can fill 2K tanks in I think a day and a half. I think is what it comes down to. And but after like 6 fills or something shit like that, I think it was actually 9 fills. It paid for itself. The machine did, type of thing,
Right.
So it's
is that pretty high pressure?
Yeah, from what I understand, like it takes 2 of the compressors to fill up 1 tank, type of thing, to keep because of the amount of pressure you got to put into them. But like my buddy JR Turtle Glass, he's out in Oregon now. He was the first person that actually introduced me to it, and him and his wife now, I think they got married. They were traveling for a while in their RV, and he had it in the back of his RV. And I guess the actual RV that he bought from somebody, the guy I guess was a motocrosser, so they had the back of the RV set up for motocross for carrying their bikes around. So he just converted it into his portable studio, more or less, type of thing.
That's sweet.
It was a small little setup, but it was perfect, and he was able to keep 2 tanks full all the time. And
that's on my bucket list for sure.
Yeah, dude,
an RV set up.
Yeah, that'd be fucking cool as shit. Like I've even thought about the whole food truck concept of getting a food truck and being like a portable glass blower.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Type of thing. And
I daydream about this shit all the time.
Yeah, me too. Hell yeah, dude. Too much fun. Yeah, dude. So I think it is time for us to get into the lightning round.
Oh shit.
And so number 1 question: if you could work with any living glass artist that you haven't worked with before, who is it and why?
Well, I haven't really got to work with anybody, so there's so many. But like right now, some of my favorite artists are I really like Ryan Higgins' Down Neck thing he's got going on, and I really like hickory glass, like his tree, his whole tree and wood look.
Yeah, it's cool.
And there's this guy RJ Glass that does like killer like toucans and like all these killer birds and stuff. I don't know, those 3 right now, like just in my recent surveying of glass and stuff, that's really just like I really enjoyed their work, and so probably one of those guys.
Heck yeah, cool.
I'll say Down Neck. I'll say Ryan Higgins stuff. That would be awesome.
Yeah, he's definitely got a whole unique look to his work. Like it's.
Yeah, I love it. It's like I love the way his shit pops. It pops. That's when I was saying I want my shit to pop. Like his shit pops.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. That whole organic kind of creature, surrealistic, thing going on.
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
I agree. So, if you could describe the sound of glass cracking in 1 word, what is it?
I guess shatter.
You have any kind of emotional response?
I don't know, like it's like teeth grinding, that feeling, or
Yeah. Nails on a chalkboard. Hell yeah.
I don't know. I was in buying some color the other day, and I dropped a piece of color, and I stopped it from hitting the ground with my foot, and like a guy that worked there was walking by. He's like, "That's a glass blower move right there. Not very many people can catch it with their foot like that." Like that and hacky sack.
Yeah, bro. I've played hacky sack with some hot pipes before, so I know what that's all about.
I know. I've done hot shit and caught them. Stops them from breaking.
Hell yeah. So what's your top 5 favorite colors?
My top 5 favorite colors right now are butterscotch, rust, blue moon, slime, and ivory right now.
Cool. Do you watch TV, listen to a radio, or do you do both?
I listen exclusively. I listen to podcasts, and I listen to Howard Stern show, and then just music sometimes.
So besides this podcast, do you have any other ones that you recommend out there?
I'm into, there's one called Love and Radio. There's Radio Lab, which is like an NPR show, which is really interesting stuff. This one, and I listen to Mark Maron for sure.
I got to listen to his Obama interview still. I heard it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great. And the one after the Obama interview is really great too.
Heck yeah.
And I have the Abe Cannon show on my podcast list.
Okay, nice. Well, a couple I would recommend, man, to check out. Tim Ferriss, for sure.
Yeah, I wrote that down, man. I wrote down your...
Yeah, for sure. Another one I like to listen to is called The Art of Charm.
The Art of Charm. Cool.
Yeah, it's,
you were talking about the year of the podcast and stuff, and I was just like, that's just another thing that's just so great about our job. And there's like all this awesome entertainment.
Yeah, I agree, dude. It's not only entertainment; it's also education. Like, I can't tell you how much shit I have learned in the past 3 years. Because like my drive to Disney is an hour and a half one way, so like I got this 3-hour round trip drive, and I was doing it sometimes 7 days in a row. And so I mean, literally, my schooling was on the road. It was like mobile university. And I'd listen to Dave Ramsey, and there's another one I listened to called Entrepreneur on Fire. John Lee Dumas, John Lee Dumas is like. He is the one that was the catalyst that got this show started, but he is he's like the number one guy out there. I mean, this guy, dude, he's bringing in like $500,000 a fucking month right now in revenue, and his podcast has been on for almost 3 years now. I think tomorrow is actually
what was his name again?
John Lee Dumas. The show's called Entrepreneur on Fire.
Entrepreneur on Fire. I'll write that one down too.
Yeah, I think he gets like 3 million unique downloads a month, like some shit. Like it's ridiculous. But it's a 7-day-a-week show, and it's a very simple format that he has. He usually asks the same questions, but every episode's a different entrepreneur, and you get to hear their struggles, their wins, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. And like I said, I think tomorrow is number 1,000, which is crazy. But as far as I'm aware, he's the only 7-day-a-week podcast out there right now. Like, there's some 5-day weeks, and like mine's a 3-day-a-week, but I think he's the only 7-day-a-week show right now.
Cool.
And it's short; it's like 30 minutes long, maybe 40 tops.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty cool shit.
Yeah, no, I love that aspect of it. Is pretty great,
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. I love it. So to move forward here, what is the worst injury you've ever had blown glass?
I guess it's just cuts and burns. Knock on wood, I haven't had anything major, so
cool.
Just the simple, probably just a slice or two,
Yeah.
The end of something.
Good.
Stick your hand in the wrong spot.
Yeah, pick up a hot punty or something.
Yeah. Something gets flipped around the wrong way or something.
Yeah, a bad habit that I have, which is also a good habit, and anybody listening to this, I don't recommend doing this, but I also recommend doing this at the same time, is I do not polish my ends of my punties because I know that sharp end is not hot.
Right.
And I've always done it. My my blowpipes, I do polish them bad boys because a couple times I've cut my lips, but like, my hands have little tiny micro scratches on them from the punties, and it's just, I would rather deal with the stinging, itchy hands when I wash dishes than having to deal with burns and what have you.
For sure.
But when I have
friends, it's crazy how. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, when I have friends come over to the studio, I polish them. I make sure that everything's polished.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's, as you learn and you go about it, and learn it, you learn to, like, always face everything there, seems pretty simple, but it's still every once in a while something gets flipped around the wrong way and you go pick it up. You're like, ah.
Yeah, dude. I think like 2 weeks into doing glass work, when I was doing beads back in the day, I had that same issue where I was like, I just put my punty down and the hot end's like hanging off the bench, and I go to grab it, and my hand's like stuck to the fucking thing because it was so hot, you know.
Yeah.
So definitely, that was one of those lessons that I definitely learned. Sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been lucky with keeping glasses on and stuff, and like I've had pieces of glass hit my, like crack or break or something hit my glasses and stuff. So, I've definitely had some close calls with some bigger injuries. But
heck yeah, yeah. I know. I know back in the day of doing wrapping rakes, if my my point wasn't hot enough for the glass to stick to it, and I go to heat it up, and like all the rake wraps pop off, and I've had them stick to my lips and my face. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's probably, you know what? Now that I think about it, the lip is probably the worst injury. Like putting your mouth to something like a blow tube that you polish and you're working, and then you stick you're not thinking, and you burn the shit out of your lip.
Yeah, and that was like 2 minutes after smoking a bowl too, right?
Absolutely.
That's every time I do it. It's
90% of shop injuries are probably from just smoking a bowl.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's why we call them safety breaks. You got to go take a break and then wait a little bit, and then you get back to it.
Yeah.
Not while you're working.
Me and my one buddy always joke, she's a glass blower too, and we're talking and stuff. He's like, sometimes you just get too stoned. You just gotta go quick. You don't have long. You gotta fire the torch up and start doing something quick. Otherwise, you're gonna get stuck somewhere.
Exactly, in front of the TV or on your couch.
Yeah, it could be a whole array of things, but you gotta get quick.
Exactly. Too funny. So, if you could give your beginning glass blowing self any advice, what would it be?
It would just be take your time, take your time, and like, the one thing that I learned the most is it just takes practice. You gotta keep doing it and never stop. And the more time you can put to it, the better you'll be.
Heck yeah.
I'm sure every glass blower knows this, but because a lot of times that's the one thing that most people notice that try glass blowing is it looks easy because people have been doing it a long time. It makes it look easy, but it's that easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of practice, and watching people. I've taken some hot shop classes and stuff, and those guys make rolling those big blow tubes and stuff so easy, and shaping and everything is just so fluid. And then you get on there and you're like, what the? You're just like.
Yeah, dude. I've done the same thing. I took some soft glass classes, furnace work wise, and I recommend it to anybody out there that is a glass artist to go do a weekend hot shop class. There is so much that you will learn in that class. All that offhand shit. I mean, it's. Like when the last class I just took actually recently was about a month and a half ago was Joe Peters and Peter Muller, and both those cats have that background, especially Peter Muller, and watching them work and besides the fact that these guys have been working together for a long time, but watching them work together, but watching their tools that they used, a lot of their tools were all stuff they used in the hot shop. And like I recently,
know, dude.
I got this pair of tweezers that they had. Like I saw the tweezers on their bench that they were both using. I immediately went on to Mountain Glass and got them. Like I was like, I gotta have those tweezers.
You know what? That's so funny because that exact same thing happened to me. Probably about 6 months ago, I went to a free demo over at Glasscraft, and there's a guy there that he was both hot. I don't remember his name. He worked in the hot shop a lot too, and he had the little tweezers, and then I forget the guy's name that makes the joint tools, but he has a mini pair of jacks, and I never had those on my bench before, and now I use them just constantly. I'm using the mini jack constantly,
Yeah, I've got to get a pair myself. Yeah, totally. Like I've always seen people take tweezers and make tweezers into small jacks, but like actually having a pair of real jacks that are made for what we do, it's huge.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Just like how we were talking about. We just got hand torches and stuff, but like tools and how many tools I have now compared to when I first started, and the fact that it is like after I took the hot shop classes, I realized when I have my, my blow tube on my rollers and I'm spinning it in the flame, it's just a shrunken down mini version of those guys on their big rollers in the glory hole. It's like
exactly.
Same fucking shit.
Yep, exactly.
It's cool. And then it makes a whole new perspective on it all. You're like, when you're looking at it and just the whole approach.
Yeah, for sure. I think too, going in and getting a gather, just to experience that.
Yeah.
It's
for sure.
It's just an experience you got to do. I loved it. I haven't done it in a while. It's been a couple years, but I got to get myself back in the studio and do it.
Yeah, me too. It's been a couple years for myself, but it's fun. It's really fun.
Hell yeah. So, all right, man. Well, here's the last question for the lightning round for you. It's kind of a fun one here. If you were stranded on an island that had a glass studio on it and only supplied your gases and kiln, what 5 items would you bring?
Okay, so is there glass there too?
Nothing, dude. You got your oxygen, propane, and a kiln.
Okay.
And you can only bring one specific thing per whatever. You can't just bring like a case of this and whatever. You got to be able to bring in like.
Yeah. I would need. I guess it would just be clear rod, fume, silver or gold, and paddle. Hey, is there a torch there too?
Nope.
Nope, a torch. I mean, I feel like I could enjoy glass blowing with like what Snodgrass started with or whatever. Just clear, some fume, a paddle, a torch, and a blow and a I would say probably jacks now because I can make stuff.
Yep.
Can make stuff out of that,
Hell yeah. It's funny though, man. One thing everybody forgets to bring.
What's that?
Your fucking glasses.
It's like the Twilight Zone with Burgess Meredith.
Yep. Well, that wraps up the lightning round there. And if you have any short parting piece of advice you can give a newbie, and also if you can give us any information on how we can find you out there in cyberspace.
I just want to say thanks for having me on, and I really enjoy the podcast, and I'm looking forward to many future broadcasts from you, and I'm learning a lot already, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, man, you're welcome.
And
thank you.
I'm looking forward to more. For newbies, it's just, if you feel it, it's just practice. You got to do it. You got to just keep doing it. I mean, that whole 10,000 hours thing for glass blowing, I think it's more like 30,000 hours.
Yeah,
something
pretty much. Or 10,000 hours per technique.
Yeah, exactly. And then Johnny Landini, glass blowing on the Facebook and on the Instagram. It's under I Am Glass Happy right now, and thanks a lot.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
Do you have a website out there?
I don't right now. It's in the works. Been in the works for a while, but I just been busy enough off of the outlets that I use in my shops that I haven't really had time or the need yet to really push for it. So hopefully in the future can get it going.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man, one of the things we're going to be actually offering for the Build Your Own Wise Guy site is we're going to have a 3-level tier kind of thing for memberships. And the third tier that we're going to be doing is full marketing in terms of building a web page for you. That's part of the site, graphic design, logo design, business cards, the whole 9 yards. So
that's great.
So once we get once we get it rolling, dude, I'm actually going to be doing a commercial starting next week. I'm going to be doing a weekly spot for starting to promote the site, and we're shooting for October. So any of you glass artists out there that are interested, including yourself, dude, definitely we want to bring you guys on board because we're looking at starting a new kind of concept in social media and social marketing in a community form through this site. It's not just a website where I'm making money on it, but I want to actually create a new type of platform out there. For people to come on board and join it and including bringing the smoke shops on board, because without the smoke shops, we really wouldn't be where we're at. They've helped pave the path. I'm not sure where it's going to be in 10 years or 20 years from now, but for the time being, it's where it's at. And yeah, man, we're super excited about it, dude. But again, brother, happy fucking birthday, dude. I'm super stoked.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to have you on here, man. Especially, like I said, it's on your birthday, so definitely
yeah.
I feel privileged to have you on here on your birthday. Appreciate you taking some time out of your day.
No problem, man. Thank you. Thanks again.
Hope everybody enjoyed, and we will talk to you soon. Take care. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. If you have any questions, comments, or remarks, please leave them in the show notes page area where it says comments. We'll see you soon. Have a wise night.